Hello, everybody. It's so good to see you. Welcome to our first ever creative tournament here on Twitch. I mean, you know, I've been on Twitch a while, never really verged into the competitive territory. Now, I'm not competing today, but many of our community members are. First of all, let me say thank you so much for all the support right off the bat. We've got all kinds of bits flying around. We got all kinds of emotes flying around. We got a hype train happening. Feeling a little overwhelmed by the support. But this support should be going to all of the wonderful contenders that entered our tournament today. It's going to be so much fun. This is going to be running a little bit differently from our normal stream. You may have noticed that, for example, the assets, the stream layout is a little bit different. So this is going to be less of a chat between you and I, and it's going to be more of a show. It's going to be a little bit more polished, a little bit different. So just be aware that I may not be able to answer all of your questions or respond to every single chat message today, but Friday or Monday next week, we will be doing a standard Stef stream. Today is a little bit different, something fun and exciting and new. So we're going to get started. I wanted to start by first introducing myself. For anybody that doesn't know me, maybe you've come from Paidia, maybe you've come to join the tournament and you are unfamiliar with my streams. My name is Stephanie Pelosa, or Stef Sanjati here on Twitch and Instagram and whatnot. And I'm the head narrative designer for Paidia Gaming, which has been the platform we've been using to host this amazing tournament, as well as a dog mom. That's me, I'm also that. And I'm a streamer. It's great to see all of you. Welcome to anybody whose first time it may be, and welcome to all of my lovely regulars. The tournament itself is super cool. So this has been a creative building tournament with an emphasis on world building, storytelling with the environment, with details in the builds. So this is not a build the biggest thing you can in Minecraft with, like, you know, there's some amazing builds out there where the emphasis is on, for example, architecture, external architecture. This is more about the internal details. So it's going to be a little bit different from some of the other Minecraft creative build competitions you may have seen. Big emphasis on the storytelling. So the tournament will be judged by certain criteria. We have 3 amazing judges that you'll meet later in the stream when we introduce our 5 finalists. We have a great interview with all 3 judges, but you'll meet them later. However, I can tell you the criteria with which these creations were judged. So number 1 is creativity. That was worth 10 points. So every entry was scored from 0 to 10 in this category. Creativity reflects the kind of block usage, the overall creative concept, things like that. The next category is narrative. What sort of story are you telling with your details? When the judge looks at your creation, what can they interpret from looking at it? And then the last category is, oh my goodness, natural integration, because the fiction of Paidia is so focused on environmentalism and climate awareness and things like that. We wanted to make sure that these builds were kind of about respecting nature. How does this build integrate with its environment rather than being plopped on top? Rather than clear cutting an area and building a massive build, how do you conserve your environment? How do you work with it? So those 2 last categories are judged out of 5, which means overall every entry was judged out of 20 points. And all 3 judges gave their scores and we found an average, and that is how we found who would be advancing to round 2, our 5 finalists. So with all that said, we're going to meet the judges later. There is prizing I want to tell you about. So every participant, meaning anybody who gets eliminated this round, will be receiving 3 months of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. Game Pass Ultimate actually incorporates both Game Pass PC and Game Pass Xbox. So that's console and PC Game Pass. Game Pass is an amazing subscription service that allows you to access a huge library of games on, like I said, both PC and console. And so every entry, every participant will be getting 3 months of that for free just for participating and for giving us their time and their creativity. Thank you so much for everybody that has participated and to everybody that helped put this together. It was a huge effort, and if you're watching, I just want you to know that I really appreciate it. All of these prizes, these entry prizes as well as the grand prize, which I'll tell you about in just a moment, have been provided by Paidia's founding partner, Xbox. It is super cool that Xbox has joined us on our mission to create a more inclusive and kinder future in gaming. I'm super excited about it. I'm super proud that we're working together to build such an amazing project. And I've been a lifelong fan of Xbox. We talk about it a lot in this stream. You may have seen my 20th anniversary Xbox post on my Instagram where I showed my whole collection that both myself and my partner have built up over our lives. And it's just been core to us. So thank you, Xbox, for partnering with Paidia and for supporting this tournament. The grand prize, also provided by Xbox, is an Xbox Series S console, as well as a full year of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription, which means that person will have not only a new console just in time for the holiday season, but a full year of access to that amazing games library. So congratulations in advance to our round 2 winner, which will be decided next week. But those are the prizes provided by our founding partner, Xbox. To lend us their expertise in all of these wonderful Minecraft creations, we have a panel of 3 expert judges in Minecraft building. So please welcome our 3 judges: Janie Laney, founder of Black Minecraft. We have Minecraft content creator Theodora Hex, and we have Twitch VTuber Zoe Hill. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Thank you. Awesome. We're super excited. So we're going to get right into our top 5 finalists. We're going to start by announcing them one by one and going through what we like about their creations and what landed them essentially in the top 5, moving on to round 2. So let's start with our first finalist. This is Charmed666 with the Crashed Escape Pod Jungle Campsite. So why don't we begin with Janie Laney, your thoughts on this creation?
So first, I do want to say big shout outs to utilizing a jungle type of scenario. I really do enjoy that. I love personally to build inside of the jungle. I like a lot of the wood, the bamboo. So I really did enjoy that. I also liked the use of the purr blocks. I honestly never use those. Even if I am in creative, I've never used those. So to actually see it being implemented in a build such as this was actually really, really cool. And then also I wanted to highlight one of the key features of this whole entire thing that I love the most was the waterfall, because it just goes, especially with the caves and cliffs update. I do feel like this was something that was needed. It has a very natural type of fall to it, especially down at the bottom where you could see it kind of mimics like the rocks and the little peaks of a waterfall, and it's just nicely layering down there. So I really did enjoy this build.
Very well done. I love the look of the white blocks mixed in. The different, tones of white makes it look like, it's been through a lot of stuff when it crashed, which is a nice detail that was added.
Awesome.
The escape pod was nice. I liked it. And the path of the tent is amazing. Breaking up the green and the brown is nice, having the path block, normal grass, and that gravel. And a nice little detail that I like to use myself, the button as a rock is amazing. I like that kind of stuff. I like seeing it.
Yeah, I remember you showing me actually on our Minecraft server for the campfire community how to use those buttons to add detail to a lot of different things. So thank you for that. I agree. The variation in the path is super nice. It's nice to see like difference in texture. It kind of brings you into the environment. There's more to look at. And then with the escape pod, like you mentioned, Zoe, the fire, there's clearly some damage, done to this that feels like there's something to learn or to explore when you look at it, right? So thank you, Zoe. Theodora, do you have any thoughts on the Crashed Escape Pod Jungle Campsite by Charmed?
I do. I like the use of the colors in it. All of it is vibrant and how it's put together. And when you look at the zoom out pictures of just the landscape itself, you can tell that they definitely did a lot of it themselves. And I say that because most of the stuff that they use, or that's making it so green and vibrant, is from the lush caves. And this isn't a cave, so obviously they had to place that themselves. The placement of the vines, the bamboo, the drip leaves, it all just looks really fantasy-like. It's giving sci-fi. The whole look that this person made or crafted is like Indiana Jones meets space dystopia.
Oh yeah.
With the crash and the detail. You can see the story in the pictures that are given.
Which was the whole challenge.
Yep.
Exactly.
To the T.
The next creation is by Lilith, and she has created a Romani Vardo Bowtop caravan campsite. She specifically said she wanted to incorporate some of her Romani heritage into this build. So let's start this time with Theodora. We'll go backwards. Theodora, do you have any thoughts on Lilith's Bowtop caravan campsite?
She said that she did the Romani carriage, and that's a part of her heritage. And I love the fact that they incorporated something as personal as that And I've always liked the Romani culture, so I was familiar with the carriage. It's really accurate to real life ones. The detailing is there. The fact that they had a broken wheel and then they decided that we'll be trapped here, and then they liked the area, so then they're going to grow from there. They incorporate, I don't know what the machine they made in the tree is because I couldn't hear what they said it was, but just the sheer fact of using the environment around them to better their campsite also goes along with what our prompt was. The use of their carriage, their campsite, all of it was just really nice. And their path. I loved their path so much. I was very inspired by it that I told you I was going to do one myself. And
Yes,
I was
that's
like,
right.
let me try doing something like that too.
Regarding the path, it's nice and I like it, though there would be some things I would change about it to make it seem more alive. Is one, I would, use a little bit more gray blocks to break up that texture, and adding some path blocks not only on the sides like you did, but like in the middle, because it's hard to imagine a path that only wagons travel on and not normal people. So I feel like having, some dirt in the middle of the path would also make it feel a little bit more alive. And possibly, adding like some broken fences and, like some form of like street lights. Because again, it's hard to imagine that a road is here and no one lit it up. But that's just a personal preference. The path is made very well.
Well, thank you, Zoe. That was great. Janie Laney, I'd love to hear your thoughts on Lilith's Romani Bowtop Caravan campsite.
In my opinion, from the different types of like medieval, sci-fi, dystopian type of vibes that I have actually witnessed on TV and stuff like that, I feel like this is very, very on point. So like with me personally, when it came down to the road, I'm glad that the road was not lit up, because I feel like a lit up road would take away from some of the lore that they were going with, as well as take away from the fact that this is supposed to be a new world of exploration. So I do feel like if the path was lit up all the way, I feel like that kind of would have been a little bit more in like progression, because they would have actually been the ones. Also, I like how it gives more of the abandoned type of feel, because there is no lighting up of anything. So even if, say, for instance, lore-wise, there was once upon a time some lit up pathways, that's no more.
It feels lived in to me,
Yes,
which I
it
think
does.
is effective story. A very effective use of the prompt, right? And I agree with you, Janie, about the road being unlit. Zoe, I totally hear what you're saying. Like lighting it would look very beautiful. But I think that when it comes to kind of this abandoned road in the rain and the wheel breaks and you're pulled over by the road and you got to make it work, it just has a very good story to it.
If there's a road already there, who put it there? That's where my thought was going with it. But I totally understand where everyone else is coming from with that.
Absolutely. Well, in Paidia.
Okay. No, it's fine. It just said that, like, in the lore itself, it said that her way down an unmapped woodland road. So it's just like, if it's unmapped, and it wouldn't be noticed, which means that you wouldn't see lighting or any type of details to it. I think it's just a pathway to travel on.
For our third finalist, we have the name Akami Akiko. Congratulations, Akemi. Akemi built a cliffside waterfall island village campsite. That's a title that I gave it from observation. I believe it fits. But Akemi did some very interesting kind of washed up on a beach and adventure sort of energy. So let's begin this time with Janie Laney. Janie, what did you like about Akemi's build?
That it was in the side of a cave mountainous type of area. I love the usage of ladders. I'm a big ladder fan. I really do like the fact that there are multiple parts of this build as well, including that actual campfire area that they built. I really did love that a lot. I love the usage of the natural area as well. Like, even if they did decide to go ahead and do this all themselves, I'm going to be honest with you, placement was everything. And for me personally, it just does feel like this super cool hideaway, like this natural type of hobbit hole a little bit, just in a mountain. And I really did love it.
Okay, I really liked this one because just like what Janie said, it being on the side of the cave, it kind of gives this earthy feel to it. It's like she's being urban, but also trying to be campy. The use of the waterfall as a mode of transportation was also really cool because in the video, she said that she uses it as a way to get down so that when she develops her village, it'd be easier access because it leads to the dock and the dock leads to more islands. So I saw the growth and the ability to think ahead for the growth of her nation.
The one thing that really stuck to me was the farm under the house because it was a nice touch. You know, it's like most people, it's like, oh, there's not a lot of land up here. Where am I gonna, say put a farm? Right under the house, and utilizing that space was a very smart idea. And I love the scarecrow out in the front. It's a nice detail. The blue of the mushrooms helps, break up the green and the gray of the of the cove and mountainous area. I love the view of the campfire. When I got to it, I'm like, wow, I kind of want to live here in real life.
Our next contestant, this is the second place in the top 5, is a very different approach. This one is by Aina, and Aina made, this is the title again that I assigned it, so it may not be Aina's own vision, but it looks like it's set into a crater, which is very cool. I called it the Crater Cave Ruins Woods Campsite, which is a lot of words to describe it, but I think when you see it, you definitely understand there's a lot of use of stone and foliage. So why don't we begin this time with Theodora? Theodora, what did you like about Aina's build here?
I like the fact that it's in a crater type of area. I like the fact that it's in like actual just a ruined area. Now, as far as with the build is very simple. It is very simple. However, I'm thinking about now their lore, which is, it's kind of weird because, mind you, if I had not known about their lore, it kind of would have been different because then I would have been asking, why is it so simple? But if I think about how they want it to be a thief, when you are a thief, you're just trying to go. So you take everything that you have, so you may not have a lot because having too much and being a thief trying to get away is kind of difficult. I do want to see what they're going to do with that bottom ravine cave type area. I really want to see them make use of that because I feel like it would add to the lore, but then also just actually add to the build.
The feel of it is very different from the other entries in that it's not about vibrancy. It's got this sort of darkness and this hideaway kind of, which is it's different from the others. But I think it's what makes it stand out as well. So thank you, Janie. That was great. Zoe, did I already ask Zoe? No, I did not. Not for this one. I'm losing track of all these entries. Zoe, I would love to hear your thoughts on Aina's Thief Hideaway build. What did you like about it?
First of all, the custom trees.
Oh, yes.
You don't see enough custom trees when it comes to certain builds. Mainly because custom trees are a pain to build. I would know. I've made like 3. I don't like it. And just how there's a tree poking out of the ruins is such a great touch that nature is reclaiming what's nature's. I really love that. And the fact that there's, the amethyst and the lichen just barely lighting up the caves is such a great touch in my opinion.
It has a kind of an Elder Scrolls feeling. It almost reminded me of Oblivion as well, which is Elder Scrolls 4. I'm not sure what about it. Maybe the ruins, the way it's built into the cavern walls, but I agree with all 3 of you that it's an excellent build.
Steph, tell me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's the calcite, the white, that makes it look like the alien ruins from Oblivion.
You know what? That must be it, because it is the alien ruins that I'm seeing in my head. So thank you. Yeah. And I know Aina has, she's a community member of ours as well, and she's definitely experienced lots of Elder Scrolls stuff. So it's very cool to see the inspirations, maybe potentially from our perspective anyway. So thank you, Zoe, Theodora, and Janie. That was Aina's build. Enchanted Kitsune, congratulations on being the top scoring round 1 build. Enchanted Kitsune made a very interesting mushroom forest campsite with a traveling cart. Theodora, what did you like about Enchanted Kitsune's mushroom forest build?
You can see from the Paidia account what they started off with. It was very flat and barren, but it's still in the world, so they didn't use a flat world and then custom everything. They utilized not only the world that they were given, but they also customized the area to make it more attuned to what their vision was, and the attention to detail in not only the custom mushrooms and trees and just details and making sure everything was exactly how they wanted by using the string in order to make sure the vines were as long as they wanted, the lighting choices that they used to brighten up areas, and the attention to detail with the plants that they decided to use that are already in Minecraft, and then deciding which one should be custom, not to mention the campsite and the lore of all the wagon and the tent. It's just all cohesive. The lore is perfectly explained with the environment that they crafted around it. It's just really well built as well.
Theodora, that was great. I agree. What I actually didn't realize until this very moment, and you pointed this out to me, is that they did start with basically an empty area, and they built everything that they can see from inside the campsite from scratch. It was just grass before that, so that's very impressive. Thank you, Theodora. Janie, I'd love to hear your thoughts next on what made Enchanted Kitsunes the top scoring build of round 1.
Definitely, I will have to say, like, because I'm looking at it again, and I kind of want to hire them. I need somebody who can terraform. I need somebody who can build and do all of this. They did such an amazing job, especially making those mushrooms. I love are those called mushroom cows? I never used.
Yes,
I believe that's the name.
It's mushroom cows.
I love those in this build. I want to specify in this build. Normally I don't, but I love them in this build because they fit the aesthetic, and I just feel like they fit everything that this is about. I love the fact that the particles, you just have particles just bouncing everywhere, and it gives a very low-key fairy type vibe, like something magical is going to happen. So I feel like what they did was kind of prepare us for progression, because I'm like sitting here wondering, okay, if you started off with just a very flat land and you did all this, what is the next part of the lore and what is the next part of your build?
Zoe, I would love to hear what made you love this Enchanted Kitsune Mushroom Forest campsite build.
The mushrooms. The custom mushrooms were amazing.
Yes.
I legit thought I was looking at, my hobbit hole back on Stef's server.
Oh, yeah. That's
but,
right.
But taken a little bit further and better. It was amazing. The terraforming is beyond godlike. Like, Minecraft itself couldn't do what this person did. And that's saying something. And I just love the wagon and, all the little details on the item frames that I might steal for my own ideas. Like, using the banner things as like scrolls is a great idea, because it does look like a scroll is, has been pulled out and you're like reading it. I love that.
Props to you, Enchanted Kitsune. Congratulations on top place in round 1. All 5 of our wonderful finalists will be moving on to round 2 next week. They will have from Monday to Wednesday to build their round 2 creation, which is meant to be a progression of their round 1 creation with an added criteria of progression is the new category, and that scores out of 5. So the judges will be looking to see how they take their creation and elevate it to the next level, where their characters and, these stories have been sitting and they've been there for a little while. What's next? What changes? What grows from here? So that will be very exciting to see next Friday on our next recap stream for round 2, where we announce the winner of round 2 and therefore the finalist. Who gets the grand prize? We'll find out next Friday. Thank you for joining us, judges.